Our first guests on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's, are the top dogs, no matter what their coaches say. Coach, unbeaten regular season, the Penfield Patriots, 1-0 win over Fairport. Congratulations first to Coach Cotsonas. I know it's been a long time coming, a decade since Penfield's last victory, and Fairport gave you everything last I guess Wednesday night when we recorded this. So big win. Congrats, John. How does it feel to finally say you guys are champs again?
It feels great, and a lot of credit to the three guys that are sitting right here with me, but the other 25 or the other 23 deserve as much credit as these guys do. Joe talked about it a little bit last night that we have guys that come to work every single day, and they don't care whether they're going to get 80 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. They come to work every single day, and it's a real team family atmosphere right now, which makes going to practice and going to games really, really fun. So,
Steve Bradley, my coach, you were there last night in the cold. I should say Wednesday night in the cold at Penfield. Why don't you introduce our players, Steve?
So we've got number 13, Joe Vogt, and then we've got number 17, Cristiano Mounnarat, and his brother, number 10, Tahj Mounnarat. And Tahj, I'm going to start right with you. I'm going to cut to the chase. The trophy celebration. I thought it was fantastic. I need to know, though, what you did is you got the trophy and you kind of knelt down and your teammates surrounded you. And then there was a big happy dance. Was that choreographed or was that spontaneous?
It was a little bit choreographed. It was one of those things where you see it on TV and you watch like the Champions League or you watch the World Cup. You see all the pros doing it and you kind of dream of always doing that as a kid. And I think once we finally had that opportunity of something that was of similar magnitude, we kind of just had to do it, I think.
You guys, a 13-0 season, and Cristiano, we just found out in the pre-interview, you were named after soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo. So you were destined to be a young man who scored a lot of big goals. Congrats, you got the big goal last night, a direct kick in the 9th minute, the only goal of the match. I'll be honest, it was mishandled by the goalie. We can say that. And you guys caught a break there. But what did you see? And how many times have you scored on direct kicks this year? Were you shooting all the way, or was that a split decision?
I was shooting all the way, I think. This is my second goal free kick of the season, and I just went for it again.
So in watching you guys play a couple times, John, Cristiano, sophomore, I saw him in a Rush Hand Reddit game take a corner kick, and he put it right on Shane McMillan's head for a goal. And then these set pieces, he seems to have a really nice touch. Could you talk about his role there for a sophomore on a team with, some older players, how he stepped into his role and been a major contributor?
Well, I think these guys, Cristiano's been around with this group for a while. We're lucky that we have both he and Tahj to take our restarts. Either of them, whether it's 30 or 40 yards out or it's a corner. And if you watch us play, it's not just Cristiano taking the restarts or just Tahj taking the restarts. They kind of go with what they feel, and we give them that freedom to do that because they can put a ball right on Shane's head or right on Joe's head or right into a dangerous situation. That's the talent that those guys have practiced and practiced and practiced, and it's a great weapon for us to have those two who can put it pretty much where they want it.
That's great. And the other thing you notice with your team, and Joe, I'm going to come to you on that, is just the 10 shutouts and the poise that you have in the back of the field. You don't make 10 shutouts in 13 games by accident, and you're really the quarterback back there, and you're so poised with the ball. Talk about the strength of that defense and what made you guys so effective all season long.
Well, we had two starters last year coming in to back this year. And then the other center back with me, Eric Martin, him and I have played next to each other since 7th grade, really. So we know each other really well. We played with Omar Actis, the right back, for a few years now. And a lot of communication, and we understand each other really well. And we've got some really good players in front of us to keep the ball as much as they can. And we're just kind of back there to clean up whatever we have to.
When did that connection with you guys, when did that start how long did it take to develop, and how do you develop that between the back and the defense like that, Joe?
You just have to play with each other. The more you play, the more you understand each other, what you're going to do, what the next move is. And then as soon as that like combination between the four of us, the five of us with our goalie started to manifest over time, we just got better and better as the season went on.
So both of you, all three of you guys have had older brothers that have come through the program, and you are the first ones that get to host the trophy and have a little bit of bragging rights. I mean, does it kind of feel like a shared accomplishment, or are you guys going to kind of hold that over their heads a little bit?
I'll start. So I think they were just as much a part of this as any of the players around the team. They were always in our ears telling us, what can we do better? Help this kid out, help our teammates out. And like over the summer, I had both my brothers take Cristiano, myself, and some other guys, and we just had the common goal of, hey, when we walk off this field for the last time, we're going to be champions. And so he put us through some tough times, and I think eventually it worked out, and I couldn't thank him enough for it.
John, I covered some great Penfield teams, and I was just looking through Butterworth's Facebook this morning, and John Butterworth, former coach, Matt Elliott, and the Saluras, Josh Bolton, some great players. There were some real horses on some of those championship teams.
Agree.
Does this team have a player like that, or is this team just more of a team than just having that go-to guy?
I would maybe go with there's not just that go-to guy. I think we've gotten these guys. The boys might know better than I have, but we've got like 8 or 9 guys that have scored on our team. But if you look at our stats, Shane McMillan is our leading scorer with 17 goals, and Shane is a pure goal scorer, and these guys know that they have him. But we have other guys up front that can cause problems, like Mark Zillist and Emery Actis and Gibson Spector, who was back and forth not back and forth. He was in and out for us, and Gibby does great things for us up there. So I think it's more of a team effort for us. There's no Josh Bolton, there's no Mario Lacco, there's no like out and out goal scorer in this crew. Shane just happens to score a lot of goals. So and these guys get him the ball. That's what makes it easy for him.
So you guys were able to score relatively early, and you put on a lot of pressure in the first half, but still it was a 1-0 game all the way. And Joe, I mean, being on the back end and being, so vital back there, how tense did it get? Fairport made a couple runs late that, all that work and just, they're one play away from tying it.
Wasn't there a great save by Josh Robinson at one point?
Yeah.
That was in the first half, but just how intense was it, Joe?
It got, in the last probably 10, 15 minutes, it was back and forth, and just kind of the 5 of us at the back were just kind of all like screaming at the midfield and the forwards to try to get back and help us, because we were just under siege for about 10 minutes there. And there were some times where it was close, and some guys Eric and Omar made some phenomenal tackles for us to save us the game, quite literally.
Well, you'd beaten them 1-0 and 2-0, and John, did they change things up at all? Coach Teasdale, his first year as the head coach there, did they change things up to try to get a different result?
Not really. When we did the scouting report, we watched the McQuaid game, and I think part of the stuff that helped us was that these guys were relaxed, knowing that we'd seen them before. And we knew they've got guys that can play. They've got great players through the top and the middle of the field, and they've got Kevin Clifford back in the center back spot, who's, gives our forward guys all kinds of trouble. But we felt confident that, looking and game planning, I think the biggest thing that really stood out to us was they scored 3 goals all on restarts at McQuaid the game before we played. They scored on a throw-in, they scored on a corner, and they scored on a restart that Jude put in, and one of the guys flicked it on. So we overemphasize that in training, and we emphasize that in like the pregame stuff, saying we cannot concede, stuff that's going to be dangerous. But these guys know how to manage those situations, whether it's Tahj and Cristiano and Zach Randall working really, really hard in the midfield to block things up, or the 4 guys across the back who close things out when things get dicey. I mean, those 4 guys in the back their anticipation of passing lanes and that kind of stuff is amazing. Omar and Danny had some great interceptions last night. Eric, like they said, had an amazing tackle right at the end off the transition on a throw-in. So Coach B and I were texting last night, and we were talking about that kind of stuff. And these guys gave up a goal to Webster Schrader in the middle of the season and then did not concede another goal for almost 600 minutes for 7+ matches. So they know how to defend, but we also, a lot of it is that we can defend by holding possession of the ball. If you watch us play a little bit, we can keep possession and we can make great angles and we can make great chances. So Fairport was fantastic last night. They were physical, they were smart, they were just like Fairport plays, and they got great players. We got Cristiano's goal early, and I think that settled us down a little bit, even though they kept coming and coming and coming, and we knew they would. So it was a great match.
So Cristiano, I'll give the last question to you as a sophomore. With two seasons left, you know you've learned a lot from everybody else. You've scored the winning goal in a sectional championship game. So where do you take this from here with the team, and how does having that accomplishment kind of, you're already a standout player, but how do you think that'll help you improve as both a leader and a player having that experience?
I mean, I think that since I've been there and done it now, I could just pass it on to other kids and see if we can win more. That's really it.
You guys are in a lot of tight matches this year, and I want to offer my congratulations. Through the vast research of Penfield, we know the storied history, 20 Section 5 titles. I think the most among large schools. I'm not sure if you got more than Mendon, but it's close. But only the third unbeaten sectional champion. 1958 under Coach Stites. God bless him, 96 years old, still with us. 1991 under Coach Butterworth, and now the first one under Coach John Cotsonas. 2020, unbeaten at 13-0. Those teams won more matches to get there, but you guys have survived the pandemic. You got yourself a title. And I'll tell you something else. I'm not trying to rile up the rivalry. I'm going to guess that they're probably your biggest rival. Are they? You guys tell me, yeah? Okay. Well, you know who really took over the mantle from Penfield? And Penfield won 7 Section 5 titles in the 90s. Fairport did. Fairport became the big dog. And now Penfield bit back. So let's see. It could be a very interesting run-up here as we get hopefully back with no pandemic next fall. So Penfield, Fairport, we got a little bit of McQuaid in there. I remember the Gates-Chalai battles. John remembers those. So
yep.
Penfield
and Hilton's been great in the past 5 years too. So
it's true.
AA is always competitive, and we always enjoy, getting the chance to play against Fairport and Hilton and McQuaid and those teams to test, where we're at to get us ready. And those games all prep us for, what went on the past week and a half to get us ready to play in sectionals. So we love our league, and we know it's competitive.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Thanks for being on the program again, fellas. And Penfield, all the way. Thank you. Well done, fellas.
Thank
We'll
you.
take our
Thanks,
first
guys.
break.
Yep.
You are
Sure, gentlemen.
listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. Thanks, fellas.